What up, G Life? It's your boy MC Shadow back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share if possible because it does help on my channel. You know what I mean? You gotta do is tap on the subscribe and the like, and you'll be doing my channel, a big favor, get into the algorithm. You know what I mean? So if you kindly press the subscribe and the like, you know what I mean? I would highly appreciate it. Now, something I actually wanted to talk about was something that I often hear on YouTube a lot. So I just came to give my 2 cents on the matter, which is get a real job, right? Get a real job. For those who, and I'm not just saying this because I do YouTube, because I have a real job, you know what I mean? I actually do work, 6 days out of the week. As a matter of fact, that's why people are always like, oh, what's up with you always wearing this shirt? I get a new shirt. This is actually part of my work uniform. It's my company shirt, you know what I mean? So I have to wear, it is never the same shirt, I got like 5 of these, but it's a company shirt. So I gotta wear the uniform. So that's when people are like, why are you always wearing the same shirt? It's because I do them when I'm at work, you know what I mean? When I'm on break. Anywho, so I got a job. I do the videos while I'm at work, my break. And for those who already know, I discussed about this on my lives and stuff like that, but my channel's not monetized, so I don't get paid for YouTube, you know what I mean? But I still do it, you know what I mean? Because I believe in my message and all of that. Anywho, but for people that attack these other channels and stuff like that, talking about get a real job, YouTube is a job, you know what I mean? YouTube is not something that's easy. You gotta go through the guidelines and rules and all of that. Not only that, but you have to buy your own equipment, meaning camera, laptop, editing software programs, microphones, etc. I mean, you could do it from your phone, but I'm saying once you do like more complex type of videos, you need all these software and etc. Blah blah. So you have to be putting in money into what you do, right? And it's not so easy, because you're spending time, you know what I mean? That I know that nobody's told you, to do YouTube. You just did it. But nonetheless, it's out of your time because you build up a fan base, right? You build up a community, people that like watching your content, right? So you got to keep coming up with these ideas, right? And coming up with ideas is also a task in its own. You got to be creative and etc. So right, so you build up a fan base now, right? A community, people that like watching your content, right? So for individuals to be mad at that, or to want to attack you for that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, right? Because although you're telling this individual, who cares about what you got to say? Who actually believes it or whatever. There's people out there that do watch these channels that believe in their message, their content, and actually like watching and everything like that. So they care and they watch. Maybe you may not care and watch. Maybe the content's not for you, but just because it's not for you doesn't mean that it's not for others. So just because you don't like something doesn't mean that that something should just like go away or shut down. You know what I mean? Could you believe if every restaurant closed because you didn't like them? That's not how the world works. The world doesn't revolve around you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like me too when I do my music, right? People be like, you should stop rapping, you're trash. But there's people out there that like my raps and my music. You know what I mean? Maybe not necessarily you, but there's people out there, you know what I mean? So why would I stop if they're enjoying it? And if they're willing to listen and buy and stuff like that, then why would I stop just because you dislike it? You know what I mean? That actually comes from like jealousy, envy, bitterness, and etc. Because there's people out there that watch, that like, that view, maybe not necessarily you, but like I said, the world doesn't revolve around you. Just because you don't like something, and that's the thing though, that YouTube is optional. So if people don't like the channel or don't like the videos, they don't have to click on them and they don't have to watch them. But there's people out there that do watch them and do like the content. So for these individuals to be making that content and these videos out there and getting paid for it, what's wrong with that? And I know people say, well, it's talking about other people's business and etc. People watch TMZ, The Real Housewives, and all these shows, you know what I mean? And it's what YouTubers do is no different than what TMZ does. You know what I mean? No different whatsoever. But yet people don't be, making an uproar about TMZ and what they do. Because their whole entire concept is based about, other people's lives and gossip and shit like that. But nobody has an issue there. You know what I mean? Although this one is a little bit different because it's talking about, a different kind of lifestyle and different kind of way of people living their lives. Essentially, it's still the same thing. But nobody has an issue with that. You know what I mean? Nobody has an issue with entrepreneurs, people that start their own business or their own hustles out there. Same people with YouTube, you know what I mean? Creating content, because it's not easy. And if, like I said, if you build up a fan base and a community, and they watch that, then why should you stop making YouTube or and all of that? And it's not like the money is actually coming from views, because it's coming from these companies, you know what I mean? With the ads and stuff like that. And if people want to donate and contribute to their channels, I don't see what the problem is. They believe in that channel, and they believe in their message, and they believe in their vision, and they're contributing to that because they believe in it and they want to see it keep going. So why would people take offense to that? Now it's different if you're tricking and conning the people. You know what I mean? To get your way. Like if you're manipulating, in a means to get money. You get what I'm saying? See, now that's different. See, I would appreciate, like, if somebody was to say, if somebody could donate me $5 for I could go get myself a 40, I would donate $5 for you could go get a 40, because at least you were fucking honest. But don't tell me that you're gonna do this and that, and in reality you're gonna go spend the money on something else. Be honest. Tell me that you're gonna get a fucking 40 and a 20 sack, homie. And here, bam, at least you were honest. You know what I mean? I'm not saying necessarily that's what I would donate the money for, you know what I mean? Because I have always been a firm believer of this: is if you have an addiction, if you have if you have your vicios, your the shit that you like doing or whatever, then you should at least be able to have the money in order to obtain these, to support these habits. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have the money to support these habits, then you shouldn't be having those habits. You know what I mean? You can't be getting people's money, tricking people, or conning them, telling fake stories just to hustle them for their hard-working money just to feed your habit. You know what I mean? That's how you know that you already hit rock bottom, and you should do something with yourself. In case you were wondering that you haven't hit rock bottom, yes, you have. If you're tricking people for money for you to support your habit, guess what? You hit rock bottom, my boy. Anywho. But if they believe in their channel, their message and stuff like that, then that's a different thing. You know what I mean? They believe in their content because they got to be creative with it, come up with the idea, the concepts, and all of that. You know what I mean? And taking time out of their days. No different from what rappers do. You know what I mean? From artists do. Like rappers or singers or whatever. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Just them speaking their life tales or their stories, but through rhythm, through a beat. But essentially, it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So, and people have no problem there with these individuals and them putting out their stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's still a creative thought and ability that what these individuals are doing, or how they edit their videos and piece them together and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just like a TV show that people like out there like watching. You know what I mean? Especially now, because this is more real, because you're not being controlled by a company. You actually get to voice your real opinions and real life matters, and people like watching. You know what I mean? And listening to it and being part of the conversations and stuff like that, getting everyone involved. That's why I think YouTube is that's why I like YouTube so much, because it gets people involved and talking about actual real matters without having to worry about nobody pulling your strings. You know what I mean? If you're letting people actually really, voice their opinions and stuff like that. Because at the same time, you being a content creator, you got to understand that criticism is going to be a part of this. You know what I mean? People have the right to dislike you, or to critique, or to debate, or to, put up a counter argument against what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because you're putting it out there and you're putting yourself out there like that. So that comes with it. So you can't be, bashing or lashing out or threatening or any of that matter. You know what I mean? You gotta roll with the punch. You gotta take them as they come, homie. At the end of the day, they're just words, and it's just the internet. You know what I mean? To be getting bent out of shape. People are not gonna agree with you out there. Not everyone's gonna agree with you, and you're not gonna be able to make everyone happy. That is just the world, my boy, that we live in. You know what I mean? You have to understand that there's people that are not gonna like you and disagree with what you're saying, and not even necessarily because they disagree, just because they don't like you for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And when you come to terms with that and you're willing to accept that, then I guarantee you'll be, a lot better, But if you want to constantly be fighting or this and that, my boy, you're gonna get nowhere. You're not gonna be able to win. These people will forever stay arguing just for the simple fact of arguing. You know what I mean? That's just the internet. I can't take it so seriously. I've been called everything in the book right here, and I don't care, bro. As long as you know there is not true, my boy. As long as you know what's actually true and what's not true, and the people that you actually hang around and mingle with know who you are and what you're about and stuff like that, then everybody else's opinions are irrelevant and it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Why are you gonna be caring about this individual, about what he's saying, if he's making it up and he lives like 5 states away? It's pointless. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It is, a real, job. People can't be hating and knocking on it. And that, my channel doesn't get paid and I actually work. But I'm saying, if that's what people want to do, then, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Everyone else, is able to start their own business and put their ideas out there and stuff like that. So I don't see what the issue is. I think what people have is issue with is they just don't like gang members. You know what I mean? And have a problem and issue with people from the streets. You know what I mean? They don't want to see people from the streets ever winning. Yet they're always saying, how come these people don't change their life or the way they think or the way that they are? You know what I mean? Yet when you see them start doing good, society dislikes that for some odd reason. And it's like, isn't that what you guys wanted, for these people to get out of the streets and stuff like that? So like, what is the issue here? But see, that's what I'm always saying, that society doesn't want these individuals to change. Society doesn't want to help and get these people out of the struggle and everything like that. Society wants these people to suffer and to still be out there and be bitter and to still be creating havoc and chaos. You know what I mean? Because they want to see, no. When I mean, like them doing good is by them coming out of work, getting a minimum wage job and struggling still and still suffering and still hating their lives. That's what you want, huh? Yeah, you don't want these people to change their ways because you still want them to suffer in a sense, by always having to work and everything like that, or just because they painted an easy lane for themselves. It's like, it's not fair because you don't have that luxury or whatever. So now now that becomes jealousy. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not fair, right? I followed all the rules throughout my whole entire life. I've been good and did this and that. Why is it that this person who's always been living in sin now get to live better than me? It's not fair. Exactly. That's envy and jealousy, my boy. Can't hate the next man. You know what I mean? For the doors that open for him. You know what I mean? And who's to say that the doors are closed for you? It just maybe not your time yet. It's never too late. But I'm just saying, that's just the world we live in. You know what I mean? They have their own opinions, and people have a liking and care to know about these people's lives and stuff like that. And you could say, well, who are these people? Yeah, they don't have to be nobodies. You know what I mean? But these people are still interested and still curious and still want to know. So regardless if however you see it, or maybe you don't think that they're nobody, just because you see it like that doesn't mean that everyone else sees it that way. Or just because you don't care to know about them doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't want to know. You know what I mean? You don't think for everybody, and not everyone thinks like you. You know what I mean? For you to try to patrol or to enforce how people think and what they really like watching, what they don't, and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Don't hate the next man. You know what I mean? Let them do their thing. You do your thing. That's just the way it is. Shadow, we out.